Hello and welcome to the Cloud Blue Podcast post-match reaction. For those that are only listening, Neil was very much not ready for that then, chilling along to our intro track. Neil, how are you, mate? You okay?
I just a bit down after that, I suppose. Really, a bit deflated. A day that had so much promise in it, a day that had, a day that had history written all over it. From
Mm.
the point of view of the first Aston Villa team to get Champions League football, there's potential whereby, um, Ollie Watkins could get his 20th goal and make history for Villa today. And we came out and we just didn't do anything. Didn't do anything at all. The most maligned player that started today, Rolinson, turns out to have an absolute worldie of a day, even stops a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And 2-11 were just, there was just no energy there. Look, I can completely understand that the players have no energy and that we're running on 50 games for the season so far or whatever it is. But, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect that performance today. And for 85 minutes, we look like we might get a draw. And I tell you one thing, Dan, if we have a draw here, I'm probably, I'm up my feet and I'm singing and dancing about this because we wouldn't have deserved it today. And we didn't get it. And we lose out in the 85th minute to a penalty, which is one of those ones that when the ref gives it, VAR ain't overturning it. And, we're very much, it just kicked off now between Spurs and Liverpool, but we're very much looking at other teams' results again, which is not a nice place to be.
Yeah, but having said that, even if Spurs win the two games they got in hand, they'd still be a point behind us. So it's still in our hands that we match
It,
Liverpool in the remaining games. We'd still get fourth, but it's not.
yeah.
I know that's not where we wanted to be. We wanted to be sat on 70 points today with Spurs thinking, Christ, this is a massive task for us to do it. And it still is. They're still going to win 2 of 4, 3 of 5, or whatever it is. They're still going to win plenty of games. And that's provided Villa don't get another point, which is possible that we lose to Liverpool and Palace, but it's also
They've,
opportunity for 6 more
they have
points
to
if
win
Villa lose
3 or
again.
4. They have to
Yeah,
win
which
3
is
or 4.
still that's
Yeah.
still a
Or
big
not
thing to step
lose
to.
between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, and I've said before, like somebody asked us, I think on the Q&A about how you see the end of the season going, and I said that we might look back on the season and say that we didn't need another point anyway. That 67 was enough for top 4. No, but I didn't think that we will not get another point. That was before Brighton. It is absolutely possible that we lose both games because we are in a bit of a hole at the moment. Energy is just not there. I've seen a couple of people questioning kind of like desire and work rate and things like that. That yeah, you might be knackered, but win second balls and stuff, like show a bit of fight, which I agree with to a certain extent. But that feels a little bit falling on the side of kind of having to go at the players that have got us to this position in the first place. Some of the comments, and I feel ill, by the way, terrible. And I know there's a big game happening at
And
Anfield.
it's not because of the comments, just because the way that came out, Dad, you were like, some of the comments, I feel
No,
ill, by the way, I feel terrible. I just
no,
want to
but
clarify, he was wondering whether he'd even do this beforehand because he's got a chest infection. So
but the comments aren't helping, I'll tell you that. There's a game against Liverpool Spurs that's happening right this second, and I'm sure people want to go and watch that to see what happens, and we all pray for a Liverpool win, of course. But I've seen a lot of overreaction and a lot of negativity already in the, 20 minutes since the game has finished. A couple of comments. One, I'm not going to name names, I feel it's unfair. Forget Europe, we're not good enough. Well, not good enough. We're fourth. We've been brilliant for the course of 18 months, really, since Emery's been here. We average almost 2 points a game. We've been consistently in the top 5 or top 4 all season. We lose to Brighton, we lose to Olympiacos, and all of a sudden we're not good enough. We are. We're just struggling. We've seen what we're doing with players at the moment, with how many games they're playing, what we're doing with substitutions. A winger in Morgan Rogers comes off with yet another injury in the first half. We bring on a right back. Does that not tell you everything about where we are with the level of the squad at the moment? Late stages of the game, Callum Chambers is coming on. What do we expect to happen? We need something out of nowhere, and we could have done with it and just nicking a result today and go, right, that's good. We'll move on with that. That's got us to 68 or 70. Happy days. Like we've got there. We're just limping over the line now, and I still think we'll have enough to do it. I've prayed that we do it. The only thing that will stop us not doing it now is Spurs going on not a monumental run. Winning 3 out of 4 isn't that, but I've lost 3 in a row, so it would require a big change in fortunes for Spurs. And if they do it, I really don't think there's much we can do about it. But over the course of the year, we've been the 4th best team. So there's suddenly all now going, oh, we're not good enough. Forget about it. Forget Europe. Let's all just relax a bit. Christ, not in the mood for any of that.
Yeah, well, look, yeah, but that's why when we do when I do my full time kind of podcasts, I try and concentrate in the game specifically, and it's difficult because like football. I said it in my own in our post match podcast. There, I had a monologue. Then it was tough. I'll tell you. First time in my life I've found it tough to speak, and I did it for about 14 minutes. It was a monologue on my own. I had no Paddy. I had no one with me, but I finished it off by saying that football isn't linear. And what I mean by that is you could be in the worst form, the absolute worst form. Look at Brighton today. Worst form over the last 6 games and didn't score a goal in April. And then they come out and they have a great performance against us. They only win 1-0 with a penalty. Could very easily have been a 0-all draw. We wouldn't have deserved it really with all the result, with all the efforts they had and the lack of efforts we had. But what I mean by that is football isn't linear. And just like when you're in a funk, sometimes the football guys just come and save you. And I know we've only 2 games to go, and a lot of people will say, oh yeah, but what do you mean by that? Like, we're not playing well. We haven't played well since Christmas. There is a train of thought with regards to that. We haven't played as well after Christmas as we did before Christmas, hence why we've dropped 2 places in the league. That's 100% certain. Yeah, but we've still been playing to a pretty decent level, in my view. Anybody else can think whatever way they want. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say here is that, like, for me to say that football isn't linear and we could just as easily go out and get a point against Liverpool next weekend unexpectedly, like we've taken points off Arsenal unexpectedly twice this season.
Yeah.
We could do that, even though we're running on absolute fumes at the moment. Is it likely? Probably not. But it's also, it's me saying what I'm saying about football being linear, it not being linear, is as likely as people saying that we're not good enough for Europe. We're in the European competition. We're good enough for a European competition. We've had a more difficult route to the semi-final of the European Conference League than a lot of, actually, I was looking it up. We've had a more difficult route than any of the other teams have had in the Europa League, which is the perceived competition above. So, it's kind of swings and roundabouts an awful lot like that, and it's hard to be massively upbeat, and me being probably, I'm going to call myself probably the most upbeat fan on the internet at times, especially on podcasts. I've gotten given out to for being too upbeat about it, and I'm still upbeat. I still think we're going to finish fourth, but it's okay to say when we speak about the game in a silo, about today's game being just about today's podcast being about today's game, we weren't very good, and that's okay.
100%. Yeah, we were crap. we were nowhere near the levels that we need to be a top 4 team, and that's absolutely fine to say that. But over the course of the season, we have been. So I don't buy all this stuff. Oh, we're rubbish, like classic Villa. No, we've had a bad game. We've had a really difficult couple of weeks. This Olympiacos game now is, to either some people, massive or irrelevant, because it'll all be about, well, we just need to get over the line for fourth next week against Liverpool and Palace, or it's, well, fourth might be wrapped up anyway. Let's go all in on this game on Thursday, which we'll speak about obviously later in the week. But it's a big end to the season. It's taken a lot of effort, and there's comments about not buying the tired excuse or whatever because non-league players do it in their part-time, whatever else. But
they're playing against non-league players, though.
Different level, isn't it? This is the elite level of football. We've had to rely on pretty much 13 or 14 players for most of the season. You're not talking about a squad of 18, 19, 20. When you look at the bench, I feel like this kind of gets forgotten about a little bit. Over recent weeks, you've got so many youngsters on there, so many players on there that are probably not at the level required for us. If you just throw in Ramsey, Kamara, McGinn, Buendia, you look at our bench, go, good squad that. We got options here. But we don't. And then you get Rodgers injured in the first 20 minutes. So we're absolutely at the bare bones. So if we can just scrape over the line, that's that. It's done, isn't it? If Spurs lose, just literally as is happening right now, they're still 7 points behind with 3 games left. They either need to win 2 and draw 1 and rely on goal difference, and that's going off Villa getting no more points. They're going to win all 3. Spurs going to win all 3? I don't think so. So let's forget this kind of extreme overreaction both ways. When we keep winning, it's title charge, and we were guilty of that as well. We got, it's easy to get bought into the hype, isn't it? But when we lose a couple, this kind of we're rubbish, typical Villa. We should never be up here anyway. We should just settle for the Europa League. So we're not rubbish. Can we just? Neil, over to you. I'm done with this.
I just want to pick up on the National League piece, and not being derogatory to any National League player or whatever, but when you're playing in the Premier League and Aston Villa of 4 players who've played over 4,000 minutes this season. No other team has that, in the whole of the Premier League. So I just want to preface that with, when you're playing in the Premier League and you're also playing in Europe, when you've got tired players, when you make a mistake, it's punished. When you're playing in the National League, there are mistakes made from players who are fresh as daisies, and they're not punished. It's about levels, really, and that's being honest. I played up until 4 years ago. I played 4 different sports. I was probably playing 4 matches a week. I was able to do that. I was able to play 4 matches a week. But I knew if I made a mistake, probably the guy I made a mistake, whether it was playing Gaelic football or hurling, or whether it was playing football or playing soccer. Well, I've got a difference between Gaelic football and football, but kind of soccer here. That you make a mistake, the guy might be good enough to finish the ball, or our goalkeeper might be better than him, so I'm just talking about levels there. And that's not being derogatory. I just think that's probably, makes sense. Makes sense to me anyway. I don't know whether it makes sense to anyone else. But from the point of view of Villa, like we make a mistake today for the goal, for the penalty, and it was a mistake. Now, we made that mistake 3 times during the game already because we're tired. We keep making the same mistake because we're tired, and we were punished by it at once with that penalty. And that's just basically the give and go pass where people just run past our defense. And Adringa did it once in the first half. Pascal Gross, sorry, not Pascal Gross, the one where Olsen came out and made the save. I think it was actually Gross. It was actually Pascal Gross. In the first half, that was the same type of situation where there was a give and go pass, and Pascal Gross had just made a run through the middle, and the ball went over the top, went to him. So that's where the tiredness comes in, I suppose. From that point of view, you get punished for those, and we were punished today. It's not good enough.
What did you think of the penalties? Rodgers, was it Rodgers?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't see a replay of Rodgers' penalty. I didn't see a replay of it, but I thought in real time that there was enough contact for it to be given. There was as much, if not more, than was given to Ndringa, but because the ref doesn't give it in real time, VAR don't give it, and because the ref gives it in real time, VAR gives it. I think if you're a referee and you go out in a game, you either trust VAR to make the decision for you, or you trust yourself to make the decision. And I think this referee did neither, which is fine. I think they're probably in the balance of probability. They're probably both penalties. But I think it's a soft penalty for Brighton. I think it would have been a soft penalty for Villa too.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that you see every so often, don't you? They're either both penalties or neither of them are. And if one is and one isn't, you kind of, one side is always going to be questioning where the consistency is. I thought their one was very soft, but yeah, you're right. Probably with hindsight, ours would have been soft as well. Just a word quickly, Neil, for Robin Olsen. Again, somebody that gets the usual tags of, Olsen in goal, we've definitely lost then, like as if football is as linear as that. Probably, well, it says a lot about the rest of the performance, but probably man of the match for us.
Oh, I think so. I think so. Man of the match on both teams. Yeah. You can't make that many brilliant saves. You can't make that many brilliant saves and not come out of it man of the match. Like, he even saved the bloody penalty. I know Ricochett's back in the rebounder gods. Now, I don't know if João Pedro called rebounders when he made the save. So I know VAR don't have access to audio, so I think it should be discussed on Sunday Night Football afterwards, because everybody knows the rules. You have to call rebounders when it comes off the goalkeeper for it to count when it goes back in. So I think there should be an investigation into that. I'm joking, by the way, for those of you that are wondering. But like, yeah, I think Robin Olsen was definitely he made a Martinez-esque save, 2 Martinez-esque saves today. The one where he comes out right at João Pedro's feet, was it Pedro or was it Adringa where he got injured from? And then the one for Pascal Gross down low to in the first half where he got up and he just the emotion outpoured from him, started punching the air like mad. They were Martinez type saves today. Fair play to him. Give him stick when he lets one in, and when he lets one in, he should save. But you just have to give him a round of applause today. He definitely outperformed everybody's expectation from him today. And I have no problem saying everyone's expectation from him today.
Yeah, this is where we are now for the last couple of games of the season. This is the squad that we've got. We're not going to get many players back. I wouldn't have thought Martinez, you would like to think, will be back for Thursday night, if not for Monday next week. Tielemans, those possibilities, I think, in the last press conference that where he wasn't mentioned specifically, I don't think, but it wasn't kind of ruled out that he wouldn't make the season end as well. So Tielemans and Martinez coming back into that side would help massively. Rodgers, it not being a serious injury, would help. But again, we're at the stage now where serious doesn't really matter. If he's out for 2 weeks, he's out for the season. So this is the squad we've got. We're playing on fumes. We're struggling. If we can just creep over the line, I'll be happy with that. No one's going to remember how this season ended in terms of, oh, we lost here, we lost there, if we still finish fourth. So as long as we get the job done, nothing to be disappointed about. It feels crap in the moment. Yeah, obviously, we don't want to lose games, but we're still on track for where we want to be.
And that's a fair point. And I think, and I'm at times I'm like this as well. I'm kind of like, I don't want to hear about the labour pains. Show me the baby. I'm at that stage. We're so bloody close, at the moment. That might be a crass analogy. I'm sorry if anybody's offended by that, but you know what I mean. It's like we are going through a period of pain at the moment, and we want to see the brilliant reward that we're going to cherish forever. If we get to the Champions League, we're going to cherish it forever. Yeah. I know that might sound small time, but it'll be the first time the club's ever done it. If you can't celebrate the good days, then you might as well not follow a team. So that's what I'm talking about here. We're going through pain at the moment, and we're screaming, and we're looking for this to be over and done with, and to be able to see that beautiful thing that we've wanted for so long. And we haven't seen it yet, and we have to go through another couple of days of pain for this. And here's me trying to justify my analogy, going, "Oh crap! I forgot that this is a syndicated national newspaper podcast, and there's going to be probably a lot of people looking at this. This is my own one, so I don't know whether the analogy is offensive or not to anybody, but I do apologize. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
It's all right, no one's watching this one when we've lost like that. Look, Liverpool are winning, okay? Salah scored 1-0, Liverpool 1-0 up, 15 minutes in. We're no further back than we were last week when we were saying we're on the verge of qualification for the Champions League and we're in a European Cup semi-final. I thought you were getting something there, Neil. I thought you were getting a big flag or something.
You're going to go, oh, he often talks about taking off his pants on a podcast. Is he going doing it? What? Why did he pick this one?
Obviously, we've lost the first leg, but we've still got an opportunity to do that. We're effectively 2-0 down at half time. That is by no means done. That's this week. It's all focused on that now. If that result stays the same, that Liverpool beat Spurs, we're still 7 points ahead. There's 3 games for Spurs to catch us. They've probably got to win all 3. All this kind of moaning, doom and gloom of, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the season. Despite these 2 results, we're no further backwards than we would have been. Obviously, if Spurs go on to win, that's bad, but I just suspect Liverpool go on to win that game now. And as I say, we're where we are. We are where we were before all these games kicked off. So all focus on Thursday. No kind of overwhelming negativity from me. Yeah, that was a crap game. Yes, we have to be better. There'll be comments from this. I imagine I will come out of this with a fair bit of stick. But I saw some before about I'm lecturing the fans. That is not the case at all, but the comments that come through is what filters back into my brain, and if all I'm seeing is, we've blown it, that's it, classic Villa bottle job. None of that is true. Let's all just relax a little bit, see what happens. Liverpool win, we get something at Liverpool or Palace, and that's done. And as I said at the very top, I actually don't even think Spurs will get to 67, so I think we can all relax now, to be honest.
Provided Spurs don't win today. It's like so much of my feeling about today's loss really depends on the next 80 minutes or whatever's left in that game.
We could have done this podcast at 6 or 7 o'clock tonight, to be honest, just to see what had already happened. But I wanted to get
everybody want to rejoin again at 7 o'clock tonight? Make it 7:15. I'll put the kids to bed. Everybody want to join 7:15 tonight? We can give a proper reaction.
Even though I don't want to come back, Neil, no one else does. Right, we've done 20 minutes. I'm happy with that. As I said, I feel like crap, so apologies that this isn't the usual singing and dancing Clark Blue podcast. We are doing a Q&A tomorrow, me and John. So if you want to get any questions to us, you can leave them in the YouTube comments down below. For those that are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can leave a rating if you enjoyed the show. I imagine there's going to be some people that didn't thoroughly enjoy this episode specifically. But if you like what we do, we are trying here. We are trying to bring you some good content. Neil, thank you for joining me as always. A pleasure. It's been a while, but thank you for coming back on. And thanks to everyone who's watched along live and got involved in the comment section. Hopefully I've not been what was the word? Lecturing you too much. Anyway, on to the next one. Cheers everyone. We'll see you soon.